abuse this while you can. I can tell you that much. 50-ish. 50 millis. Welcome to another video, guys. Today we're gonna talk about one of the most impactful champions we have seen in a very long time, and that's none other than Titus Blackplume. This guy is gonna unlock so much potential for so many of you people, and you're gonna be able to do 1-key Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you're gonna do insane amounts of damage in Hydra, Chimera, you name it, Titus has it. In this video I'm gonna go through all the builds, all the masteries, the relics you could be using, everything you need to know about this bad boy so you can actually squeeze the most you could out of him so you achieve some absolutely nasty results. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you think I've earned your subscription, a like and subscribe would really be awesome, because that helps tremendously on small channels like mine. So if you enjoy what I'm doing, it would really mean a lot. And don't forget you can also check me out live on stream each Tuesday and Thursday, where I do free account takeovers live for my viewers. So if you want to get into that, drop by and check it out. If you still haven't started Raid, or you're thinking about starting yourself a new account, you can also use my promo download link, which is going to start you off with 4 amazing champions right out the get-go, so you can just skyrocket your progress. And you're also going to have 24 hours to use one of the promo codes in the promo code section, be it Desert Queen for Rock, Monkey King for Sun Wukong, or Demon Slayer for Thrallney. The choice is yours. Now, let's get into the build. Okay, so why is Titus Blackplume so strong? It is mainly because of this thing. His A2 is absolutely broken because it scales off shield damage uncapped, and it just does absolutely broken things. What this thing does is attack one enemy, and this attack is always critical if this champion is under a shield. This attack also gains a damage boost equal to the value of the shield. It also removes all debuffs from all allies. If the target is killed, if the target survives, places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn instead. This effect cannot be resisted if this champion is under a resist shield, and the damage is based off both defense and HP, but also from the shield as stated. Quite a few takeaways from this skill, guys. A, you do not need crit rate. You need 0 crit rate on this guy if you want to be doing big numbers. All you gotta do is blast as much crit damage as you can, ignore crit rate completely, because if this guy is not under a shield, you probably already fucked it up. The other thing you need to notice, you do not need accuracy. Again, you are gonna be under a shield at all times, or things got messy, so you're always gonna be placing an irresistible provoke as long as what you're attacking did not die. Other than that, it's still worth mentioning what the other skill does, because you are going to be using your A1 quite a lot. It has a 40% chance of placing block active skills debuff for 2 turns. This effect cannot be resisted again if you're under a shield, so again, no accuracy needed. Whenever an ally counterattacks, teams up with allies to attack or instantly activate a skill, also has a 40% chance of placing block active skills debuff for 2 turns on the target enemy. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate, yada yada. And we also do book this thing out all the way up to 60 for the block active skills, but yeah, it really doesn't matter much. And the A3, which is something you can actually straight up turn off, places a 50% ally protection buff, a 50% increase attack buff, and a 30% increased speed buff on a single ally for 2 turns. Also fills that ally's turn meter by 40%. Instantly activate these skills at the end of an ally's turn if that ally has no buffs and their HP is lower than 100%. Again, multiples, does only one activates, whatever. So yeah, this thing is actually something you're not gonna want to be using in things like Clan Boss, because it's all gonna be A2 all the way. You don't really want to mess up your cooldowns with this thing, so you just turn that off, but we're gonna talk about that later a little bit. We also have a nice little passive here. Each time an enemy hits an ally, that ally's next attack will deal 10% more damage for each hit they take. Stacks up to 100%. The damage increase resets after that ally deals damage. And he also brings a nice little HP buff, increases void ally HP in all battles by 40%, which is kind of nice. 40% is unheard of, but then again it's only for void allies, so there's that too. He is himself a void ally, so he can increase his HP by a lot, but from what I hear, people have tested this, and if you actually increase this guy's HP, he starts dealing lower amounts of damage, which doesn't really make sense, but apparently that's how it works. I don't know if it's a bug or not. I don't know how it's based on HP, like does HP actually lower his damage or something? But yeah, if you have a lot of HP on this guy, you actually start dealing less damage if you did not have that extra HP. Enough about the skills, now let's talk about the build. Here's what I managed to muster, and you're gonna notice I actually kinda went crazy with this one, not gonna lie. 411 crit damage, but you're gonna notice I actually managed to snag myself the 5-star blessing. What can I say, I'm something of a sniper myself. And yeah, Shaboy managed to snag that win nice and easily with 2,000 points on that last Champ Chase tournament. we were sitting at under 11 and finished off above 12,700 to get ourselves the good old 5-star. That definitely does bring a lot of extra stats here, like the extra crit damage from the blessing, the extra defense is amazing, the extra HP I guess is fine, and also the extra bonuses for the Ascension itself, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, what do you want out of the build? 6-piece Merciless is really gonna be amazing for this guy. Alas, I do not have good accessories for him in the Merciless, so I have to just build him 6-piece from the top row, because I just, no matter what I did, I could not muster a freaking crit damage amulet out of either of these, so I really thought it's not gonna be worth going with a suboptimal amulet just for the sake of going 6-piece Merciless from the accessories combination. So instead I just blasted through 6 pieces of Merciless on the top, half where the gear is, and just threw a couple of feral pieces in this case, because I did have a couple of really nice pieces for that, and getting the extra speed out of this also not the worst thing in the world. Like I said, we do not care about accuracy, but feral was just kind of fine as a couple of pieces for me to stitch things up together, so the speed is not too low. You are gonna notice we actually have a very decent amount of defense on him, not too much on the HP, a moderate amount of speed, like around 200 is fine if you ask me, not crit capped. Like I said, you do not care to crit cap here, guys, don't be a noob. I actually first built him a crit capped and then started reading the skills, and I'm like, oh wait, why did I waste all of this crit rate when this could have obviously been crit damage instead? And this is what the numbers look like when you care about nothing but the crit damage. You're also gonna notice though, we have a good amount of resistance here, and the reason for that is, if you want to be using this guy in things like Hydra, Chimera, that kind of stuff, well, bosses there actually can steal your shield, and if they steal your shield, your damage is done. Like, your damage is gonna be a fraction of what it could have been. So if you're not resisting those things, you're probably gonna be in a bad spot. And for Hydra, I think we're fine with this amount of resistance. If we're not, we're just gonna bring a increased resistance champion alongside it. And same thing goes for Chimera, because with Chimera I think you needed something like 600 resistance to be able to resist everything the Chimera can throw at you. So yeah, increasing your resistance by a good amount with a buff will help, but you could also just straight up build 600 resist. It is gonna cost you a bunch of defense, because you're gonna have to go with flat resistance on the chesticle instead of a bunch of defense, but these are the prices you might want to pay if you want to get yourself some really good results on those pieces of content. If we're talking about Clan Boss, however, you're really not going to care about resistance, so all it is resist could be extra defense, could be extra speed, could be extra crit damage, that kind of stuff, but since I want to be able to build him for all types of content, I went with this somewhat balanced build. I know it's kind of crazy on the numbers, but still, it is not that hard to achieve if you've played for a few years in the game, that's for sure. Like I said, we're going for a 6-piece Merciless here, and the really important things we're getting out of this is the 15 increased crit damage, the extra speed, the 30% chance to decrease a random skill's cooldown by 1 turn when dealing damage, and a 35% ignore defense, guys. Like, 35% ignore defense from 6 pieces is unheard of. No other set actually manages to do this. So this is why Merciless is the best way you could go about this guy. And for the other 2 pieces, you could use something like Zeal if you managed. Like, if you managed to put a couple of Merciless accessories instead of the ones I did here, you could actually combo it off with a couple of really good Zeal pieces or something along those lines, because that is going to increase your crit damage by 20%, and also you are going to get 12% damage increase for each 25 HP this champion has. And to be fair, you're always going to be full health, so that is going to be a constant plus 12% damage increase, so that would be absolutely obscene, but again, I could not actually muster the accessories for that yet. Other than that, if you're not already in the Merciless zone, you could try something like, let's say, Impulse, let's say Reflex. So you can actually be cycling your A2 as often as you can, and for that to be as effective as possible, you want to turn off the A3 completely and never use it, so that the drop cooldown always lands on the important skill. But you also could just go with the classics like 4-piece Savage, just for the sake of 25% ignore defense. You could do something wasteful like actually build him in a 4-piece Lethal as well, which again gives you 25% ignore defense, but the 10% crit rate, like we established, is gonna be wasted on him. The other set you could actually blast with would be the Instinct set, because building this bad boy in a 4-piece Instinct, and actually 4-piece Merciless for that matter, could be amazing again if you do have some Merciless accessories laying around. But if you have the Merciless accessories laying around, just build him in a 6-piece Merciless instead and call it a day. And also, do not get baited, guys. Do not build this guy in a 9-piece Merciless. I know it sounds great, but getting yourself an extra turn could actually screw you over if you're not careful. I'm not saying it's not gonna work, but for this to be working for for you to be getting extra turns and not lose your shield in the process, you're gonna need some very fast buff extenders, and this guy needs to be a little bit slower probably, because if this guy chains a few extra turns in a row, you're probably gonna lose yourself all the buffs you have extended all that time, so it's probably not worth the risk, guys. You're probably better off not going all the way with the Merciless, just cap it out at 8 piece if you have enough, because the extra crit damage and extra speed definitely ain't bad, but the extra turn chance, just not worth the risk if you ask me. Other than that, for the relic, I decided to give him the best relic I have on the account. This is Marius Scat Gaze. I'm not gonna keep this probably on him, or at least I'm gonna have to swap him through when I really need to blast big damage, because this Cat Gaze just works amazingly well on my Marius. So if you have yourself a Cat Gaze, especially on a good level, definitely worth slapping it on the titty boy so he can actually clap really big damage. But if you don't have the Cat's Gaze, fret not, there's still other options. You could actually do something like Scroll of the Unseen, but for this to work you are gonna need to bring a perfect Veil champion for this damage to start stacking. And also you are actually gonna get a little bit of crit damage out of this thing if you level it up all the way to 9, 12, 15, that kind of stuff. You even get some speed on 15, so if you manage to invest that much into this thing, it is actually gonna start resembling somewhat of a Cat Gaze, but if we gotta be honest, nowhere near. Another relic that should work really well on him would be the Erefi Coronet. This thing doesn't matter for the stats it gives, but wearer's damage increases by 1% each time they place a debuff. Technically you do place a debuff both on your A1 and on your A2, so something like this could work on Hydra, not so much on Chimera, because there you can only place block active skills on the Viper form, I do believe, so maybe it's not such a bright idea to be bringing the Coronet here if I gotta be completely honest, but maybe it's still worth the test. I don't know, you tell me in the comments. For me, now that I said it, actually doesn't make too much sense. Another thing you can just bring if you're very bare bone is just straight up crit damage Malefic Talon. Not the worst thing in the world to bring. The extra crit damage ain't too bad. Wearer has 20 chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking, and this thing goes up extra if you actually invest a little bit into this thing. So yeah, if you're really bare bone, I guess just Malefic Talon for the extra crit damage also ain't no joke. For the blessing, from what I hear, Heaven Cast is gonna be a great one for you, especially if you have yourself a good amount of Ascension. This thing gives you 1.5% damage for each buff you have on your champion, and if you're just extending buffs indefinitely, this could be going all the way up to 15% damage depending on the champions you bring. At least for a 5-star, on 6 it becomes even better, all the way up to 20. But if you have a 6-star, it is actually going to be worth it to switch to Crushing Rend, because this thing is just going to be massive for you. Every hit will ignore 1% defense, so that is also going to be pretty massive for you. But yeah, probably worth a test. I haven't tested it myself, I'm just blasting with the Heaven Cast. As for Masteries, you could be using something similar to this. The important part here is to go with Helm Smasher. You could also consider going with the War Master. I guess that also makes some sense, but does it really? The bonus damage is never gonna be bigger than the ignore defense here, so no, it's always Helm Smasher, guys, no question about it. On the defense tree, be careful what you pick. Here's what you should go for. The last roll really doesn't matter much. I went with this thing, but it's never gonna lose max HP or anything like that. But never go with this thing, guys. If you get yourself a chance to increase turn meter, this might actually be a problem for you, because if, again, you outspeed your buff extenders, you might find yourself in a pickle that way. That's about it for the build. If you don't have books on this guy, by the way, you actually are willing to try and just book out your A2 guys. As you see, I actually did manage to save myself a couple of books, and I did only book him. I started off with 4 books at the first time. I saw I got 2 on this, so then I started with 2 books. They landed on the A1, started again with 2 books, and it landed on this, and that's enough books for me, guys. I don't need to book him out completely for him to be an absolute monster, so if you're short on books, just book the A2 and call it a day. I actually already did my clan boss key, so I know how much this guy is gonna be smacking, and I will show you a clip basically of me talking over after turn 40, was it, or something like that, so you guys can see how much damage we actually managed to muster. But yeah, basically we brought him a team. I know it's a bunch of mythicals and whatnot. You definitely do not need this much mythical stuff to actually get it work. I just threw the first champions that came to mind, and might as well just throw the biggest, bestest thing I have. And to be fair, neither my Androck nor my Lady Mikage are built that amazingly well. Yes, they are in 9-piece protection, so let's not pretend it's a bad build or anything like that, but the stats are definitely nothing to write home about, I can tell you that much. But yeah, basically the gist of this strategy is you want yourself a buff extender extender, and we have Androck for that with the A2, increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. So that's the gist of what we care about from Androck. For Mikage, we care about the increased duration of all buffs again, and it's also not bad increasing crit rate, crit damage, so basically my crit damage goes even higher than what it already is. Wixwell is in here so he can increase the duration again, also increase the value of shields, and that all happens from the A2, but the A1 is also not bad. With these intercept stacks, you're actually gonna prevent the clan boss from stunning your idiots if they don't have too high resist or something. Actually, could you even resist those stuns? Can't remember. Either way, it doesn't matter. With the intercept stats, you will. So yeah, Wixwell is definitely quite the beautiful champion for this thing. And we have Mikage in here for the increased speed, for the strengthen, and also decreased defense plus weaken. The two best debuffs you could be bringing in this fight, so you can actually get yourself an amazing amount of damage with the help of the Titty Boy. With Titus, like I said, you just turn off the A3, so this way your Merciless can have no chance of actually decreasing this instead of this, and this way you're gonna fit yourself a lot more A2s instead. And yeah, this thing is just gonna go crazy good. I already tested it, it did go above 50 turns, and the damage was actually absolutely crazy. We literally almost one-shot the max chest reward with Titus. It was actually kinda insane, but yeah, now let's move with Chris from the past, from before this guide was made, so you guys can see some crazy numbers go burr. Alrighty guys, we're already 42 turns in for 17 minutes, and we're just over 1 billy damage, you know, ain't nothing wrong with that. We have ourselves 3 shield extenders, some of which already actually lost their shield. Apparently their defense is not high enough for something like that. But yeah, let's see what Titty do. Let's see what that Titty do. Is he gonna one-shot Ultra Nightmare damage, aka 69 mil damage, straight out the gate with his A2? Let's find out, guys. Okay, that was actually pitiful. I already saw something like 50 mils here and there, so I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, it's a little bit on the broken side, I can tell you that much. A wee bit on that broken side. Okay, let's see what that do. Boom, 26 mil. I already saw 50s, by the way. I already saw 50s, so I'm not sure why is the damage difference so big. Maybe some of the masteries and whatnot are proccing or whatnot. Okay, almost 1 million on the MA1s, 29 milli over there. Ain't nothing wrong with that, guys, ain't nothing wrong with that. Kinda on the insane side. Okay, the intercept stacks actually stop us from getting stunned. Real nice stuff. Shields extended for days. Lydia almost bit the hammer there. Okay, almost 1 milli out of Titty. Yeah, Lydia should not be for this world for too much longer, I do believe. 46 million, guys. 46 million. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 40. It's kinda insane, yeah. Basically, they broke the game. I really don't know if this guy's gonna remain like this for too long, by the way. Like, he might get capped somehow sooner rather than later. But for now, Plarium are saying they do not have plans of nerfing this bad boy, so abuse this while you can. Get yourself the Ultra Nightmare 1 key. Definitely is a huge quality of life change, I can tell you that much. 50-ish. 50 millis. Literally almost does the entire clan boss Ultra Nightmare key in one single slap, like 70 mil straight out the gate for the last chesticle like that. Kinda insane. Truly unbelievable. But yeah, at this point I do believe our damage is starting to fall off, because the boss is actually dealing more damage than our shield are growing. So there's that too. So yeah, it's just kinda broken, guys. 36. Insane. Kinda insane. We're already on the 50 turn mark, so this is where we should start dying. Or not. Wasn't he supposed to start ignoring shield at this point? Don't remember how it actually worked out. Been a while since I cared about these things. Block damage and unkillable. Okay, so shields are not ignored, so this thing is actually gonna last for quite a while. You know what? I'm just gonna Alt F4 this and do a quick little 1 key after that on auto and just see how much damage that do. Kinda insane. Let me just see one last hit. Maybe we see some even bigger, better number. 34. Nope, it's starting to drop off. Okay, so we Alt F4. This way it does not eat your key. Okay, it warns me that the previous previous battle didn't finish, we kinda don't care. But yeah, let's see what that clan bob do. Okay, doing it on the quick battle now, and let's see what them numbers are gonna look like. Quick battling right there. See what that pity do. Just one bill this time? Fascinating. Well, pretty sure this would have gone a lot more. I'm not sure why it gone down to one bill here. Maybe Lydia died a little bit earlier or some shit like that, but either way, it doesn't matter. Just get your defense up on the champions that are kind of dying off, because that is the reason. They're starting to take more damage on their shield than the shield is growing, so that's the real reason why things go down. So yeah, guys, as you saw, the manual key, which I actually just autoed still, did go above 1,300 mil with ease, and the auto just flopped at only 1 bill, but still pretty decent, guys. Pretty decent, and who cares how many billion we do? In the end of the day, as long as you do 70 mil in a single key, that is all that matters, so you can actually get yourself that good old 1 key. I think this video is already long enough, so I'm not gonna be testing him in Hydra and Chimera. Do let me know in the comments if you want me to do so. But yeah, for this video, I think I'm just gonna wrap it up. I think you guys got the gist of it. Just get yourself free buff extenders, and that is gonna do you wonders. I've heard even people do it with 2 buff extenders, I think. Maybe with a cooldown champion reset or something like that, like a Kaimar or something. Or I've heard people do it with things like Painkeepers, which also is absolutely massive. This way you basically just decrease cooldown of all ally skills, and that way you actually get to do the extends as much as you can. You also get to do the damage as much as you can, so that is absolutely beautiful piece of strategy. And yeah, basically go to your champion collection, include all of your champions, and search what kind of champions do you have that actually increase buff duration. I myself actually have plenty, so technically you could be doing this with just something like a Wixwell, with Anchorite. Heck, probably even this guy is gonna work. So yeah, the world is your oyster, guys. You can do whatever you want. If you have Mikage, that'd be amazing. And as you saw, even Painkeepers could get the job done if built correctly. And if you notice that your shields are actually falling off, the problem is probably that your champions have too low defense. So try to be aiming for something above 4,000 defense on your idiots. And also try to get your buff extenders to be reasonably fast, like at least 250 plus. And also a couple of other tips now that I said it. You actually would like to have your champions in a shield set and in a bolster set. Like I myself only brought a shield set on this one, I do believe. Yeah, I just threw Wixwell and a bunch of shield stuff. Nothing to really write home about. It's not that amazing of stats on him, but it got the job done. But if you have yourself also a bolster set, that would be amazing. But the thing about bolster is that it is actually a pay-to-win set, so there's that too. But yeah, if you actually have a shield set and a bolster set, those work together side by side. They do get your damage amped up nice and fast, so if you don't have your buff extenders already built nice with something amazing, just slap them in a 4-piece bolster and a 4-piece shield set, and that would do you wonders. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I really hope this helps you unlock some unseen potential for your accounts, and you get to start doing some crazy damage on all those pieces of content. If you think I've earned your subscription, a like and subscribe really would be awesome. Don't forget you can download Raid from my download link if you want to start Raid the right way, and also use your promo code section in your first 24 hours to get yourself an extra legendary champion. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.